Minecraft Bedrock Edition, a version of Minecraft that Microsoft intends to be the successor of Minecraft Pocket Edition, Java Edition, and the Legacy Editions. To truly understand how far this game has come, let's take a look from its past to the present. Before we continue, I just want to mention that the Pocket Edition versions of the game will not be included in this evolution. If you're interested in seeing those versions, check out my video on the evolution of Minecraft Pocket Edition in the description of this video. Version 1.2, also known as the Better Together update, marked the end of Minecraft Pocket Edition and the beginning of Bedrock Edition. The update was the introduction to crossplay for various platforms that supported Minecraft. The real issue was that crossplay wasn't really fully available just yet. Both the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 crossplay were postponed, throwing off the whole purpose of the update. Apart from that, blocks such as banners, jukeboxes, coarse dirt, as well as structure blocks were added. Items such as the Book and Quill, Firework Star, Firework Rocket, and music discs were implemented. Finally, parrots, armor stands, and ravines also made it in. Moving on to the next version, 1.3. Wait, that doesn't even exist. Yeah, so apparently this version just isn't a thing. So let's move on to 1.4, also known as Update Aquatic. This update added, you guessed it, aquatic features. You know, blocks like coral, kelp, sea grass, sea pickles, and more were added. Items like buckets of fish, dried kelp, hearts of the sea, various spawn eggs, tridents, and trident enchantments also made it in, along with our favorite sea creatures like dolphins and fish. Slapped on top of that, we also got around 7 new ocean biomes, buried treasure, coral reefs, icebergs, shipwrecks, and finally underwater ruins. Now you're probably asking yourself, how come he didn't mention some of the other awesome features that the aquatic update added? Well, that's because version 1.4 is just the first phase of this update, which means 1.5 is the second phase. Now let's finish that block list. Bubble columns, conduits, and turtle eggs were added. Items such as turtle spawn eggs, scoots, turtle shells, and turtle master potions were implemented. Finally, turtles were tossed in, along with drowned, which were finally actually available in the game, not only through experimental gameplay. Versions 1.6 and 1.7 are just bad. They added barriers, some slow falling items, phantoms, phantom membranes, the hive in the server list, and the ability to eat food in creative mode. That's about all. Let's move on. Looking through the next few versions of the game, I had a sudden realization. Versions 1.8, 1.9, 1.10, and 1.11 are all considered to be a part of the Village and Pillage update. So I'm just gonna list all of the things added from all 4 of these versions. Starting off with the blocks, there are quite a lot of these. Bamboo, scaffolding, barrels, bells, blast furnaces, cartography tables, smokers, fletching tables, grindstones, lanterns, smithing tables, composters, campfires, lecterns, looms, stone cutters, sweet berry bushes, illager banners, and more were added. The only newly added items could be found in versions 1.8 and 1.10. These items were crossbows, banner patterns, more spawn eggs, sweet berries, shields, and more. There were also some new mob additions as well as dramatic changes to old ones. Pandas, stray cats, pillagers, wandering traders, ravagers, and illager captains were added. And most importantly, villagers received a huge revamp in their AI and trades. Apart from these additions, bamboo forests, pillager outposts, raids, and illager patrols were also introduced. And now we've made it to another boring update, version 1.12. Cameras were the only item added, but they could only be obtained with commands. Apart from that, villagers were slightly balanced and a bunch of bugs were fixed. Now for version 1.13, which is apparently a part of the Village and Pillage update. Blocks such as dead coral, wither roses, light blocks, and more were added. Suspicious stew and the fox spawn egg were the only items introduced. Mobs such as the brown mushroom and foxes stepped into the spotlight. Some other additions were abandoned villages and the character creator. Finally, we are out of our villager phase and in on our bee phase with the introduction of version 1.14, also known as the Buzzy Bees update. Honestly, I've always found this update to be quite boring, but definitely not the worst out of the bunch. All the blocks introduced were bee related. Beehives, bee nests, honeycomb blocks, as well as honey blocks were introduced. Items followed along with honey bottles, honeycombs, and bee spawn eggs. Now for the main addition in this update, the bee, a cute flying bug that supplies you with honey and makes plants grow faster. Apart from that, some new achievements were tossed in and some bugs were fixed. And by some, I mean a lot. Version 1.15 just doesn't exist, so let's get to version 1.16, the Nether update. Blocks such as Ancient Debris, blocks of Netherite, chains, Crimson and Warped Wood, Crying Obsidian, Lodestone, Nether Gold Ore, Respawn Anchors, Lanterns, Targets, and more were added. A few items were added as well. Pigstep Music Discs, Netherite Tools and Armor, Netherite Ingots and Scrap, Warped Fungus on a Stick, and more. Mobs such as Hoglins, Piglins, Shriders, Zoglins, and Piglin brutes stepped into the spotlight. The Nether itself also got a huge revamp, with new structures such as bastions, Nether fossils, and ruined portals, as well as new biomes like basalt deltas, crimson and warped forests, and soul sand valleys. Apart from that, emotes were added. We are making our way to the present with two of the more recent Minecraft updates, version 1.17 and 1.18, the Caves and Cliffs updates. This time Mojang decided to redesign the caves, which was an update that the community had wanted for quite a while now. Once again, there are a ton of new blocks like amethyst, copper, deep slate and deep slate ores, drip leaves, drip stone, blue item frames, lichens, lightning rods, moss, powdered snow, spore blossoms, tinted glass, tuff, candles, and more. We also have plenty of newly added items such as amethyst shards, buckets of axolotl, copper ingots, glow berries and ink sacks, powder snow buckets, raw ores, spyglass, and more. The mob list is very short, the only additions being axolotls, goats, and glow squids. The real bulk of the update came from the world generation, making caves and mountains larger and filling caves with new biomes, while also changing ore distribution. With this update, it looks like you won't be digging straight down. Version 1.19, the Wild Update, a version of Minecraft that doesn't really follow a concise theme. The update added a couple of new swamp blocks like mangrove wood and mud, frog blocks like frog lights and frog spawn, and then suddenly shifted to the deep dark with blocks like reinforced deep slate, skulk catalyst, and shriekers. The items included were also a mix with buckets of tadpole, disc fragments, echo shards, goat horns, mangrove boats, recovery compasses, and much more. The mobs are the most interesting aspect of this update. Allies, frogs, tadpoles, and the warden were added, which is quite an interesting selection. Apart from that, the most significant aspect of this update was the ancient city and deep dark, along with the mangrove swamp. We are now at the finish line with version 1.20, the Trials and Tales update. This update seems to generally focus on decorations, making it decent for builders but not very appealing to other players. Let's list some blocks. New bamboo blocks, calibrated skulk sensors, cherry wood, chiseled bookshelves, decorated pots, hanging signs, piglin heads, pink petals, pitcher plants, sniffer eggs, suspicious sand and gravel, and torch flowers were introduced. Along with this, items such as brushes, pitcher pods, pottery shards, smithing templates, torch flower seeds, and more were implemented. Two new mobs, the sniffer and the camel, were added. Boats received a nice addition in this update with the new cherry boats and bamboo rafts. In terms of world generation, cherry groves and trial ruins were tossed in. And that is the evolution of Minecraft Bedrock Edition. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, comment, like, subscribe, and check out our Discord server. I would also like to thank my community and thank you all for the support. See you all in the next video.